Again, I'm guessing that Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Defence Secretary John Healey are neither of them students of history. Otherwise, they would perhaps hesitate before announcing publicly that they were investigating ways that Britain's armed forces could protect Poland from a large and aggressive neighbour. This followed the sending of a few drones from Belarus and Russia into Poland's airspace. Unless my memory plays me false, this is just what we did in the summer of 1939. That is to say, guarantee Poland's integrity of its territory. And from what I recall, it did not end well for the entire world. I would personally think twice before pledging once more to go to war if Poland's territorial integrity is threatened. But then, as my viewers may remind me, I am not running Britain. Apart from the horrible irony of the fact that neither our armed forces nor the inaptly named border force seems able to prevent tens of thousands of men crossing our own border whenever they are minded to do so, one has to be suspicious of the British government's motives in wishing to embroil themselves further in the internal affairs of Poland. Obviously, sending a few fighters from the RAF will not prevent the Russians attacking Poland with missiles and drones, so from a strictly military perspective, it's a pointless exercise. Boy, what a fabulous distraction such a move would provide from the domestic issues which are currently besetting Keir Starmer. Let's face it, there's nothing like a war for distracting attention from problems with the economy or, I don't know, say the fallout from having appointed a sleazy character to the post of ambassador to Washington and so on. Everybody likes a war because all the bad news floating around suddenly seems very trivial by comparison, especially when the war offers the prospect of turning into a nuclear Armageddon. Let's face it, Keir Starmer is a dead man walking, and there's little prospect of his life or political career improving in the near future. Imagine now if he became a war leader, helping defend Poland from the onslaught of Russia's army. It must be a tempting prospect to a man in his position. This would be a gamble, but since his political extinction is practically a certainty at the moment, it might be worth taking. Of course, such adventures can go wrong. One remembers Anthony Eden and the Suez Crisis in 1956. That finished him politically. On the other hand, a similar little war saved Margaret Thatcher, who was almost as unpopular as Keir Starmer in 1982. Following the victory against Argentina, she won a huge landslide in the general election the following year. As I say, Starmer has little to lose. We all know how prime ministers like putting on combat jackets and standing around near soldiers. I can see this appealing to Keir Starmer, and it would take our minds off everything else. My guess is that we are going to be dispatching troops and aircraft to Poland, and that Starmer will be hoping that tensions rise there, so that we all forget about Angela Rayner and Peter Mandelson. The thumbnail to this video shows him playing dress up in neighbouring Estonia last year.